Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody safe and well now. It seems like this snowstorm hits everyone terribly. So I hope you are doing well. So if you have any trouble or delay caused by the snowstorm, shoot me an email. Like, say, for example, your homework or you have a problem to get online. All right. So just shoot me an email. So people, excuse me. Before I start this new material, I want to confirm, yes, we do have a pop quiz today. And so I will give you time to work on the pop quiz toward the end of today's class. Just hang on there. Don't worry. So we will go through that. So today, so we will start a new chapter. So this is the last chapter of our review for microeconomics, right? Oh, the other things I want to emphasize is, so I received several emails from the students who has some trouble with the textbook and homework. So number one, so the textbook. So the reason why I mentioned at the beginning says textbook is not required because I want to save your money. But if you feel that's nothing and you can afford, and definitely you should have a textbook. All right. So I don't want to confuse you. So if you have any confusion, let me know. Either send me an email or we can chat over Zoom. Okay. This is for textbook. But certainly, so you can just pick whatever textbook you would like to use. But just look into the right chapters. So that is going to correspond to what we discuss in the class. Okay, so this is regarding the textbook. And then so regarding to question for homework, certainly you can always shoot me email, or if you like, we can set up appointment via Zoom. So and then so we can discuss. But however, oh, by the way, so we have econ tutor that is offered by CBA, I believe, as free. So I may send you the message later. So during our short break for today's class, right? So that's regarding to textbook and question regarding question on your homeworks, right? Okay, and thanks, students mentioned, so you can rent the textbook for 23 on Amazon, right? So that seems a good deal. Again, so in some sense, I may be like an older generation compared to you guys, so I may not want to spend, so that's my bad. So I assume so you may don't want to spend. So again, so I just took that back. So if you can afford, definitely it's worth to read the textbook. I recommend, right? So, but certainly, so if you find it's difficult to pay the money, that's fine. So just follow my lecture notes, right? So that's all I want to say before today's discussion. All right, so let's move to demand and supply. So this is all we are going to discuss in this chapter. So we start to explain what is a competitive market. And then so we look at demand and supply separately. And then so we are going to use this equilibrium model. So here, so when we say equilibrium, essentially we're just going to bring demand and supply all together. So we bring them together, we are going to see the determination of price and the quantity. Okay, and then so we are going to use that model to understand some interesting economic phenomena. Say, for example, the minimum wage, right? Or say, for example, so during the COVID-19 early stage, the government imposed a ban of selling face mask on eBay, right? So in economic jargon, we call it rationing, right? So this is rationing the price or rationing the quantity. Okay, so we will use that to understand those relevant economic issues. Okay, so let's start with competitive market. What is a competitive market? Right. But first of all, what is a market? Market is a place well, buyers and sellers, they meet. Like just think about this, the farmer's market near you know, right? Or just think about the grocery store. So that's a market, right? Or you can think about eBay, okay? Or these days you may prefer to sell your stock on Facebook or sell your stock on Craigslist and many other online platforms, okay? So those are markets. Okay, so essentially it's a place where buyers and sellers, they meet. What's the purpose of their meeting? So their meeting is, so they are looking for something. Buyers looking for something they can purchase. Sellers, they're looking for someone who's willing to buy their stuff. Okay, so that's a market. Now, what is a competitive market? So competitive market is characterized by many buyers and sellers. So here, the key word is many. On the other hand, so there are many buyers and sellers of the same goods or service. Okay, so this same actually is captured by the facts, So the quality of the goods is the same, right? And finally, so in this competitive market, because there are so many buyers and sellers, also because the quality of the goods and the service are the same across the board. And then no one can influence the price. Nobody can influence price. And everybody must take the price as given. No one can manipulate price, right? So this is a competitive market. To help you understand better regarding the market, and so I would like to draw a diagram. Okay, on the horizontal line, so is numbers of buyers. On the vertical line is numbers of sellers. Right? And what is a competitive market? You can think about is in this corner. So you have many buyers and you have many sellers, right? But in reality, so we may have other type of market. Let's just give you one example. Okay, so you may end up with in the market, there's one or very few sellers, and you still have many buyers. And then so we end up with here. Okay? And then in economics, we call this monopoly market. Okay, so this is a monopoly in the sense there are one or very few sellers. So this one or very few sellers, they have monopoly power in the sense they can influence the price. They can manipulate the price. They can determine the price. Okay, so just give you an example. Microsoft, in some sense, it is a monopoly. It is a monopoly in the operation system market, right? And think about our daily life. MUD and OPPD, both are monopoly. So MUD control the market for water and the gas, right? And OPPD control the market for electricity, right? But certainly there's reason behind why we need a monopoly in electricity and a water supply market. But here I just give you an example. So they are monopoly, right? Okay, and then so in reality, we have another very, very interesting case. You have one or few buyers, but then so you have many sellers. Okay, so this is called monopoly. Okay, so this is kind of similar to monopoly. So in that market, instead of sellers can manipulate the price or influence the price, now the buyers, they have market power. So in some sense, they can influence or they can determine or they can manipulate the price. Okay, so and then so you may wondering, what is the example of monopoly? Okay, so actually the example is Medicare market. What is Medicare? So essentially that's the healthcare for elderly in the United States, right? And then, so who are the buyers and who are the sellers and what they are trading with each other? First of all, so Medicare essentially, so they are trading or they are buy and sell for medical service. These are medical service for elderly, right? And then who is the buyer? The government. Who are the sellers? Healthcare providers. Think about hospital. Think about clinic. Think about nursing home. So on and so forth, right? So there are many, many hospitals, many clinic, many retirement homes or nursing homes, right? So they provide medical service, right? And then so who purchase? Government, right? Okay, so that's another example. But now, so in this class, we are going to exclusively focus on here, which is competitive market. Okay? So in competitive market, because there are so many buyers and the sellers, nobody can influence the price. Okay? And then so you may be wondering, so where does the price coming from? It's coming from the market force. It's coming from invisible hand. Okay, but that's the main topic in this chapter. Right. The other concept associated with competitive market is supply and demand model. So this is a model of how a competitive market behaves. Right. First of all, this is a model. And second, this is a model about the behavior in competitive market. Right. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn in this chapter. Now, let's start with demand. Remember, so in the market, there are two sides, demand versus supply, right? Okay, so let's start with demand and later we are going to look at supply, okay? So before I explain to you the details of demand, okay, so two things I want to emphasize. Number one, we study competitive market. Nobody can influence the price, okay? And then, so what that implies, okay, what that implies, this is just implies we are going to, sorry, so this implies, because, okay, because so many buyers and sellers, everybody the same, nobody can influence the price. So this implies when we look at demand or supply, okay, either it's a demand side or supply side, they will take prices as given. Again, toward the end of the discussion, I will explain to you where do prices come from. For now, prices are magically given. Okay, so we just look at how consumer behaviors will respond to prices and other factors. All right, so that's how I always start our discussion. So, right, demand represents the behavior of buyers, right? And then, so we have a demand curve, which is going to show the quantity demanded at various price. Again, where does this price come from? We don't know, okay? We just take that as given. We are interested in how quantity demanded change with price. And then maybe other factors we are going to look at. And then, so what is the quantity demanded? So this is a quantity that buyers are willing and able to purchase at a particular price. Now, there are three things in this definition. Number one, so this is at a particular price. This is number one. And then number two, so quantity demanded are buyers willing to buy. So willingness, right? So let's write down this one. And then two, they are willing to buy. And the third, they are able to buy. The third. Okay, so in this definition, there are three things you need to keep in mind. One is at a particular price, and two, the consumer are willing to buy, and the third, so they are able to purchase. Right? Let's, for example, look at this picture, background picture. Right? So at a certain price, this old gentleman, he's able to buy, but he may not willing to buy, right? And then towards the end, so he may not purchase these things, and then the quantity demanded may not include his decision. That just give an example. Now we look at a numerical example to understand demand curve, and the quantity demanded, right? So here we look at a particular market. So this is a market for cotton. Again, so we start with demand side. Okay, so now from demand side, so we are going to look at how quantity demanded. Look at here, quantity demanded. How this quantity demanded will respond to price. And again, so where does the price come from? So we will wait toward the end. For now, so price are given. Those are magic number throw into the market, and everybody just observe that number, and then they have their decision. Okay, but later you're going to see, so the buyers and the sellers, their behavior will jointly determine the price. Just think about in the election, right? So nobody can influence the outcome as an individual, but everybody just take everybody else decision as given. All right, so and then so you cast your vote, and toward the end, so your vote, like every vote counts, and then your vote together with everybody else vote is going to jointly, collectively determine who will be our leader. Now this is a similar story. Okay, now let's just look at demand. Okay, so here's cotton. Now let's say, for example, if price is at $2 per pound, and then we can observe the consumer are willing to and able to. So there are two things, right? So they're willing to buy, and they are able to buy, right? And then so we find out, we observe the quantity will be 7.1. Now if the price decline for some magical reason, right? And then you can see, so the number increase largely because lower the price, and for sure, so the consumer are more willing to buy. At the same time, they are more able to buy. They can afford more, right? Because it's cheaper. Right? Now, if we continue this trend, so we can find out the consumer's response to all possible price you may observe in the market. Right? And then so these two numbers, I mean these two group of number, on the one hand is the price, on the other hand is the quantity demanded. These two numbers give us the demand schedule. And if we put these two group of numbers on a diagram, okay, and then so we are going to have a demand curve. Now, usually, so we put quantity on horizontal line. So this is quantity. And the price on the vertical line. Okay, and then so this diagram will give us the demand curve, but this demand curve essentially is going to connect all those dots. But what do those dots represent? So those dots represent the consumer's quantity demanded as a response to each particular price, right? Let's just speak one numbers as example. Here, 1.25. And then, so from this table, we know at $1.25 per pound, the consumer, they are willing to and able to demand 8.9 billions of pounds, right? So this dot represent a particular role in this demand schedule, all right? Okay, so as usual, let's just take a quick break.